Good morning, Colleen.
Deborah, did you take care of Kelly?
Colleen, can you hear me?
Into the unknown.
Colleen, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
You excited for the day?
Ready to go. You've got a big day on your plate.
Yes, it's gonna be a beautiful day.
All right, I'm going to, would you please enable screen sharing?
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and make you the host if you will make me the co-host.
Yep. You are now the co-host.
Perfect.
Will we be able to see any of the participants?
Did you join through Whova or through Zoom?
Through Zoom. I can see there's people waiting, I guess.
Yes,
So
you will be
they'll
able to see all of them.
Do I need to admit them?
No, if you'd want me to admit them early, I can go ahead and start admitting them.
Oh, no, it's fine. Whatever, on your time. I just want to make sure I wasn't adding one more thing there.
Figured I'd give you a little bit of time to get everything set up.
I just need to find, it's in a different desktop. And am I sharing my enhancing ensemble energy screen? Can you see that right now?
Yes, it looks perfect.
And let's see. Did it just change?
Yes.
Great. What if I do it down here? Oh, that works too. Cool.
Yes.
That's easier. I just want to get the chat up. Is there a chat?
Yes, the chat will be going through Whova. So I can let you know, if you want to open for Q&A at the end, I can kind of let you know what the questions are, or you can always log in on your phone, or I can send it directly to you if you want me to just like text them to you.
I can open it on my phone.
Okay.
Okay. I think I've got everything set.
All right. You ready to let them in?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So we are pleased to have Colleen McNichol here to give her presentation on enhancing ensemble energy, yoga, mindfulness, and breathing strategies for choir. Colleen is pursuing her PhD in music education with a choral cognate at Michigan State University, where she also supervises student teachers and assists with undergraduate coursework. So please welcome Colleen.
Thank you for having me this morning, and thank you for being here. I recognize that it is early on a summer morning, and this is a good place to be. We're going to be doing some breathing. We're going to be doing some mindfulness techniques, and hopefully this is just a nice way to get yourself into this summer session for MSVMA. So I realize we're starting a minute early, so maybe we'll just take a second to let some more of these people come in. But I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Colleen McNichol, and like Hannah said, I am a PhD student at Michigan State University. And this semester, I am working pretty exclusively on my dissertation, where I get to work with choral directors, and we're just kind of investigating how wellness is going to work in all of our interesting classroom situations. Well, we're at 9 o'clock, so I feel like we can begin. So goals for today, we're gonna breathe. We're gonna connect to the breath. We're gonna move with the breath, but don't worry, you're not gonna have to move too much. We're gonna be mindful, and we're gonna pay attention to ourselves without judgment. And I'm gonna give you a lot of strategies. There's a QR code with this presentation. It's got a bunch of additional resources. It's got a link to this presentation. I've got a ton of stuff there, and I am updating that regularly. I also attached that as a PDF on the Whova app, so feel free to use that as well. The QR code is a little more updated and continues being updated, so feel free to use that as long as you like. The direction of this presentation has shifted just a bit due to the way that our world is interacting with COVID right now. So I hope that it goes without saying that a lot of these deep breathing techniques probably shouldn't be used in public spaces. And I think it would probably be awful to do wearing a mask. I know a lot of school districts are following different guidelines for opening up in the fall. So I've done my best to provide ideas for using yoga, breathing, and mindfulness techniques for in-person or online instruction. So we're just gonna start with a really easy flow. I invite you to find a comfortable seated posture. We're essentially going to do some chair yoga, but this can also be done cross-legged on the floor, in your bed, wherever you happen to be right now. I was going to say feel free to turn your cameras off, but it looks like we all have our cameras off, so that's good. I love to see your faces, so if you want to turn those back on later, I would invite that. But as we are right now, let's bring our awareness to our bodies in your chair or on the ground. Notice which parts of your body are grounding you, rooting you to the earth. Notice which parts of your body are rebounding and lifting you up. Feel your shoulder blades down your back. Lift your heart space. Feel the crown of your head lifting. Relax your jaw, tongue, eyes. If you're comfortable, close your eyes and interlace your hands loosely and bring them to your belly. Notice what happens to your hands as you gently breathe in and out. Don't try to change your breath, just notice. You should notice that your hands will move slightly towards each other as you exhale, and your hands will slightly separate as you inhale, allowing more room for breath to expand the ribcage. How does your breathing feel? Is it shallow and labored? Is it deep and easy? Notice, but don't judge. Next, bring your awareness to your mind. Watch your thoughts as they come through. Don't judge those thoughts, just allow them to be, and then send them along their way. At this time, I invite you to set an intention. This could be an intention for this very short practice. Could be an intention for this whole presentation. It could be for your day at the conference or for the beginning of your school year. It could be as simple as just breathe, or don't judge, or listen. As you inhale, clear your mind. As you exhale, think only your intention. Inhale, clear. Exhale, think your intention. As you're doing this, deepen your breath just a little bit. As you inhale, notice the air filling your lower belly, back, upper belly, chest, throat, all the way up to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, feel it leaving those same places in that same order: lower belly, back, upper belly, chest, throat, crown of the head. Inhale, lower belly, back, upper belly, chest, throat, crown of the head. Exhale, lower belly, back, upper belly, chest, throat, crown of the head. Now bring your awareness back to your body in your chair or on the ground. Are you sitting any differently? Notice, don't judge. Now let's take those hands from your belly and place them on the top of your legs. Inhale to open your heart, shoulders open back and down, your belly drops forward. And then exhale to round it all out forward. Shoulders should almost collapse forward and pull the pit of your belly back towards your spine. Inhale again, open that heart. Exhale, round it out. Do that one more time. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round it out. And come back to neutral. And your hands are on your legs. Let's go ahead and bring them up to seated mountain pose. Let your right arm fall down. And stretch to that right side of the body. Inhale back up. Let your left arm fall. And stretch that side of the body. Inhale back up to center. You're going to let your right arm come behind. If you've got a chair there, it's nice to grab. If you just want it to fall down on your hand to fall down on your thighs or to the ground, that works. You're just going to find a nice twist. So your left arm can come down to the ground. It can just rest on your thigh, whatever works, just so you're finding that nice twist in the body. Inhale back up to neutral. We're just going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Find that nice twist. I'm using my standing desk to give me just like a little bit of leverage here. If you've got a desk in front of you, that works. And then inhale back up to neutral. And bring your hands down. Roll your shoulders back. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Relax your jaw, tongue, and eyes again. Nod a gentle yes, a gentle no. Remind yourself of your intention as you take a deep inhale. Let's end this flow with a gentle cleansing breath out. One more inhale in. Cleansing breath out. So that was our first flow that we'll do together as a group. If you wanted to add a child's pose at the end where you're kind of laying there over your thighs, that's another just fun, comfortable pose, especially when you're working with students. So I have here pictures for you, and I have pictures for you in the handout that I have as well. And it kind of talks you through that flow. But some reasons that this is a great flow to be using with students, and this could be in choir if you're in a traditional setting. This can be if you're working with students at home and just need a 3-minute brain break. This is a great way of calming students at the beginning of the period. It's a great way to set an intention for your class period, for your day, for your week. And you can check back in on that intention throughout the class period or throughout the day. This is a great way to transition into group warm-ups. So when I used stuff like this with my students, we would then go, we would take our breath and transition it into humming, and then we would transition into our traditional choral warm-ups. And it's also a nice focus interlude between pieces. So if you just did something pretty heavy, or if you were doing an activity as a group online, and you just needed to refocus, recenter, and bring your students back to the task at hand, this is a really easy way to bring them into that place. Benefits of this flow is it's connecting you to the breath. It's opening up these muscles around the respiratory spaces. It's not super demanding. You don't need much technical, you don't need definitions. You don't need vocabulary. It's pretty easy for students and for teacher. And it also just offers an opportunity for rest and connection. I know a lot of us are just going right now, and sometimes we just need to take a couple minutes to rest, reconnect, and then move on with our day. So why do we talk about yoga and mindfulness? Why are we using this in the choral classroom? In a pre-COVID world, I would cite NAFME's position statement, which is talking about physical health, psychological health, and hearing health. They talk about how in an effort to reduce performance injuries, encourage good auditory and physical and emotional health in students, that music educators need to become involved in this injury prevention by teaching health-conscious and music-related practices to students. So that's one of those responsibilities that I just didn't know about when I started teaching. And yet our national association says this is something we should be doing. We are the primary channels for teaching students how music is taught and played. So one of those responsibilities, I believe, is teaching students how to be healthy, functioning, well musicians. Yoga and mindfulness are two great ways to approach these issues, especially when we're talking about physical and psychological health. In our current world, my answer is just a little bit different. We as teachers and our students need the opportunity to get in touch with our minds, bodies, and breaths. I read an article, I think 2 days ago, in which the author described themselves as existing from the head up, which is exactly what I am doing right now, existing from the head up. We're sitting in our stressful thoughts. We appear just from the shoulder up, and we really have so little time to connect to our full selves. So yes, yoga and mindfulness are helpful and important for approaching musicians' physical and psychological health, but it can be so much more for so many people, especially in today's climate. So we can be that introduction. So the word yoga means to yoke the mind. And if you think of my visual on this is like oxen with the yoke on them, it's really just to kind of lasso it in, bring it in, see what's going on, and be kind of in control of it as much as you can. So yoga is a stress reliever. It's a resilience strengthener. Resilience, that's one of those big words right now. It's empowering, it's self-rewarding, it's appropriate for all types of learners, but it's also very personal to the individual. So my yoga journey is very different than anyone else, any other teacher who's here. And it's also transferable to all areas of life. A lot of the ways that I learned how to think when I was doing my yoga teacher training has really helped me as we've been interacting with this pandemic and being forced to stay at home. A lot of just the calming mind techniques have been super helpful. Yoga is not, and this is important, it's not only postures. Yoga, the postures were actually created to help people who were sitting and meditating. So the postures were created so that the people who were sitting and meditating weren't having debilitating problems. So it is not only postures, and that is important. And it is not a religion. I have a bunch of books linked on the QR code that I have for you. And one of them is about introducing yoga to the classroom. So if you are a person who's worried, like my community might think that this is like a little too religious, they have the exact right wording for you if that is something that you are interested in. So yoga videos are huge right now. They are everywhere. And these can be used in quarantine. So if you are one of the teachers who has to post, 5 lessons a week, this could very easily be a musician's wellness lesson. So I have linked a ton of videos for you. Yoga with Adrienne is my favorite. She is very soft-spoken. She's very, she calls herself like nerdy. She's great for students for sure. I linked one that's yoga for teens, yoga for musicians. If you're working with younger students, this Cosmic Kids is super cute. They tell like little stories and they have you do yoga along with it. And then I also linked a yoga for choir that's specifically for like if you're standing for a long time. So that one is super helpful. So my gut is telling me that if you're teaching in-person classes, yoga and deep breathing are not the best things to do right now. But if you're in a school that wants you to post a variety of activities for students, this could be a great way to go. So these are all probably 10 to 20 minutes. You could post it in a Google Classroom. You could do it together with your choirs via Zoom if you are one of the teachers who has like weekly meetings with your students, any number of things. There's so much more to being a musician than to simply singing. So giving students the opportunity to connect with their bodies and kind of understand the muscles that are working as they're singing, it could be helpful. So here's our flow number 2. This one's, again, super simple, super short. So say you've been rehearsing for a little bit, you want to give your choir, just their minds and bodies a little bit of break, or maybe get students up and moving, but you want to connect your conversation to breath, support, and control. This is one way to do it. So we're going to begin with Viloma 1. And this is a traditional yogic breathing activity. Now we're going to move into eagle arms, which I love. It's one of my favorites. And then we're going to do Viloma 2. Generally, you wouldn't really want to do these in succession. We're just doing it this way because I want you to experience them both. Generally, if you like Viloma 1, you hate Viloma 2, or the reverse of that. So if you are not enjoying it at all, just breathe normally. And this is a caveat that you might want to give for your students too. So we are going to go ahead, take a deep breath in. Exhale, nice cleansing breath. Inhale a little bit and hold. 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 Then let it all go. Try that again. Inhale a little bit, hold. Inhale a little bit, hold. Inhale a little bit, hold. Let it all go. One more time. Inhale a little bit, hold. Inhale a little bit, hold. Inhale a little bit, hold. Let it all go. Take a deep breath in. Cleansing breath out. Then go ahead and take your arms to a T. Inhale in, feel your shoulders relax down your back. You can do this seated, you could do this standing. However you are works just fine. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cross our arms in front of us, and you're gonna bring your left arm under your right arm and wrap it either once or twice as you can. Again, allow those shoulders to go down your back. Don't let them be hunching forward. And feel your heart opening just a little bit. If you want to add a little bit of a back bend, that's okay. Inhale in. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. And go ahead and release your arms. Bring them back to that T. So that was left under right. Now we're going to do right under left. So bring them in front, wrap it once, maybe twice if you can. Shoulders down your back, don't let them hunch forward. If you want to add a little back bend, that's fine. Inhale, nice and deep. Exhale. As you inhale, feel that breath going all the way to those muscles in the back that are giving you any tension. Exhale, unwrap. Arms to the T again. And bring them down. Roll your shoulders back. Let them relax. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Now we're going to try this second Viloma. So if you hated the first one, you might like the second one. Take a deep breath in. Exhale a little bit, hold. Exhale a little bit, hold. Exhale a little bit, hold. Let it all go. Inhale, nice deep breath. Exhale a little bit, hold. Exhale a little bit, hold. Exhale a little bit, hold. Let it all go. One more time. Inhale nice and deep. Exhale a little bit, hold. Exhale a little bit, hold. Exhale a little bit, hold. Let it all go. Nice deep breath in. Cleansing breath out. All right, that is the end of flow number 2. So again, that's just a nice, easy reset. I find that the Viloma 1 is super energizing for me. And then I find that Viloma 2, I connect that a lot to singing and breath control. So I really like using that one with choirs because it connects so easily. And once you find that control of the belly and the air release in that breathing technique, sometimes that connection can be made for students who perhaps weren't doing that in their regular singing. Okay, so now we're going to talk about mindfulness. Again, mindfulness is a lot of things for a lot of different people, but one general definition of mindfulness is the practice of paying close attention without judgment or commentary. The goals of mindful education are to help students learn self-awareness and empathy. It has a lot of techniques to help calm and focus the mind. It helps with mindful communication, so like really thinking about what you're saying before you say it, and again, helping apply some of these skills to everyday life. So we've got different applications for mindfulness. Like I said, you can use it in exercise, study, walking, just quiet sitting, paying attention to what's going on. And there's really 4 areas that mindfulness can apply to: the body, the feelings, the mind, and mental qualities. So thinking about, am I angry? Am I happy? Am I sad? Observing it and then moving on. So mindfulness moment number 1, we are going to be doing a vacuum breath, and this is from a book called The Way of Mindful Education, and I have that linked in the resource sheet for you. I highly recommend this book. It's by Daniel Rechtschaffen, and if you end up getting this book, this is on page 219. And they have just little scripts for you. And this is something that you could, you're having an hour-long rehearsal online and you just need a break in between songs, or, however you're figuring out what to do with your students. This is just like a 2-minute activity to get your mind and breath linked up. So let us begin. The vacuum breath can really help us relax and let go of stressful feelings really fast. Every single person, grown-ups, kids, teenagers, teachers, they get stressed sometimes. There are certain events that arise that create reactions inside us. Like when someone jumps out of a closet and scares you, your whole body would tighten up, you'd probably take a quick breath, and then you'd freeze. It's easy to see that kind of reaction in the body, right? While other types of reactions happen all the time in the body, but we don't notice them as much. Maybe you get left out of something you wanted to do with your friends, or someone says something mean to you. Every time something like this happens, our bodies react in a certain way. If we feel angry, our anger may feel like tightness in our bellies or heat in our faces. When you feel sad, you might feel an ache in your heart or a heaviness in your body. No one likes to feel this way, but we don't know any ways to make ourselves feel better. With the vacuum breath, we can find these unpleasant feelings, suck them up with our vacuum cleaner, and then let them go. So let's start. First, get comfortable in your mindful body. And let's take 3 big mindful breaths together. Inhale. Let it all go. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now let's scan through our bodies to see where we may feel any stress or difficult emotions. As you go through your body, see if there's pain, tension, or uncomfortable feelings anywhere. Right now, we're not trying to get rid of these feelings. We just want to notice them. Starting at your head, see if there's any stress, any headachy sensations, any jumpy thoughts, or anything else that is uncomfortable. Then move down through your shoulders and arms to see if there's any tightness or stress there. Then make your way to your heart, to your belly, feeling any emotions or painful sensations. Then make your way all the way down through your body, through your legs, all the way to your feet. Did anyone feel any uncomfortable feelings or difficult emotions? Now that we've noticed these uncomfortable feelings, what can we do with them? Luckily, we have a vacuum in our bellies. When you breathe in, you can imagine the vacuum in your belly sucking in all of the uncomfortable feelings you may have. Starting from your head, pull any headaches or annoying thoughts into the vacuum cleaner. Then move through your heart to suck up all the sadness or nervousness. Pull any tension or uncomfortable feelings from your arms, your legs, your entire body into your vacuum cleaner belly. Then hold the breath in the belly for 3 seconds. When you are ready, let all the air come out of your body and the hard feelings with it, just like you were emptying all of the dust from your vacuum cleaner. As you breathe all the air out, let your body totally relax. Let go. Then again, take a good long breath, feeling any stress in your body and vacuuming it into your belly, holding the breath there for 3 seconds, and then relaxing with your out breath. Try this one more time at your own pace. So depending on the group of students or teachers or whoever that you do this with, this could bring out some, pretty heavy emotions. What's really neat is that this book has some journaling prompts, drawing prompts. You can start conversations. What are some of the things that you had to vacuum out? I know a lot of my vacuuming is just like, loneliness and being stuck at home and not being able to play with my friends. We can talk about how the vacuum breath affected the body, and then talk about other places that we can use this in your life. This is something that I use all the time when I have performance anxiety. Just inhaling, letting all of the anxiety build up, and then exhaling, just letting it all go. I just never had the vacuum idea in my mind until I read that book. So other little ways that we as teachers can be practicing mindfulness, and you can share these with your students as well. I took this from, I think it's, well, for some reason it's not in my notes. I think it's psychology.org. I posted it on that resource list for you. So really easy mindfulness exercises. Yawn and stretch for 10 seconds. Just taking 10 full seconds to do that is actually really fun, especially when you're with a group of kids. 10 seconds takes a long time when you're yawning and stretching. Stroking your hands, just getting in contact with these things that are attached to you all the time, but sometimes you just don't pay attention to. Clenching your fist and breathing to your fingers. That releases a lot of tension for me. We've got this stop technique. So stand up and breathe, tune into your body, observe your surroundings, and then ask yourself what is possible. This is a good thing to do sometimes when I've got a super stressful day. I set an alarm for, like on the hour so that I can just like step away from my computer, step away from whatever work I'm doing, and just breathe and check in and see what I'm actually doing, because it's really easy, especially when we're in teacher mode and we're in lesson planning mode and we're, trying to get ready for the beginning of the school year, to go, 3-4 hours without standing up and paying attention to what our body is telling us. So I encourage you to try that. Mindfully eat, it actually says mindfully eat a raisin. One day when we're in a post-COVID world, I want to give everybody a raisin pack so we can just sit and do this together, because it's actually like it takes a long time, and you wouldn't think about it. Also, just decide an aspiration, something new. It could be not even related to music or music education. And then also a favorite color in a coloring book. I have my coloring book right next to me. I don't use it that much, but every once in a while, if I'm having a rough day, I just turn on some music, color a little bit. It helps me feel a little bit better. So I have for you some online mindfulness resources. Again, just like with the yoga ones that I shared with you, these could be good in a classroom. These could be good online if you're posting in a Google Classroom or something like that. I encourage you to check out mindful.org. I signed up probably a month or two ago. They have a daily email that they send out, and you can change up how much you actually want to get from them, but they'll send out just like a mindful moment, and it'll just be a quote, and sometimes that's just a second for me to recharge, but they also have meditations on there, things that teachers can be using, and then there's the mindfulness-based wellness and pedagogy. Frank Diaz is the mindfulness guy in music education. He's at Indiana University, and I encourage you to check that out. He does mindfulness trainings, and he just recently did a webinar. I'm not sure if that's like out there, but take a look there. He used this "Why Mindfulness is a Superpower." It's like a 3-minute video. So if you're going to start doing mindfulness with your students, I encourage you to share that with them, because it just kind of explains it in a way that's really easy, about why you might want to use mindfulness. So I think in that one of the analogies that they use is, there are days when you're driving and you just show up at the supermarket and you don't remember how you got there. Mindfulness is not doing that, basically. That is mindlessness. And then one of my participants in my dissertation study shared this Go Noodle with me, and she told me about it yesterday, and I checked it out yesterday, and they have some really great 5-minute mindfulness videos, all free. They also have a website. I didn't get into that. I was just enjoying their free YouTube things. So this melting video that I have on here is really similar to a lot of the mindfulness activities that you would read, but your students don't have to listen to your voice. I know my students got annoyed with my voice after a while, so that is another good opportunity. There's also so many podcasts out there. If you have Spotify, or even if you just Google mindfulness podcast, they have 10, 20-minute mindfulness meditations. But I do encourage you to screen those before you give them to students or use them in class. I had a few times when I used them with my choirs, that we would get halfway through a meditation and we'd be so calm, and then the microphone that the person was using would pop and everybody would get out of the meditation. So just make sure to listen all the way through, and that should be helpful. Okay, here's our mindful moment number 2. I'm using this book called Breathe Like a Bear. Again, I have this linked for you. This is, geared towards younger students. However, you can absolutely use this with the older students. I know when I had middle school and high school, they loved when I pulled out picture books. And you can be a little cheesy about it if you want to. So they have 30 mindful moments for kids to feel calm, focused, anytime, anywhere. And we are going to do one that's an energizer. And this is called 1, 2, 3, clap. And we've got this cute little monkey clapping. So I probably hold this up if I were with students. So open your arms really wide. Count 1, 2, 3, and clap your hands one time. Rub your hands together and make some energy. Pull your hands onto your belly. Take a long breath in. Let it all out. Open your arms out wide again. Count 1, 2, 3, and clap your hands one time. Rub those hands together faster this time. Make some energy, and then put your hands on your heart. Take a long breath in. Let it all the way out. And that's it. That's something that I would absolutely just do in between songs, get the energy building. When you do have a bigger group of students, and if you're on Zoom and you have the sound on, it'd be fun to hear all the claps happening at different times. I did this at the ACDA in Milwaukee in March, and we had a group of probably like 150 people in that room, and we all clapped together, and the energy that happened in that room when everybody was rubbing their hands, it was like really fun and energizing. So I encourage you to think about how you might be able to use that in person or not in person, because that's one of those things that it's not requiring deep breathing. It's not requiring people touch anyone or get outside of their 6-foot bubble. So that could be an easy way to build energy and have a little bit of fun with your students. Okay, so other ways that we can enhance our ensemble energy, one of them is to talk about breathing, to talk about the actual mechanics of breathing. So I encourage you to start with a good body map. This is something that I did not have until I was in grad school, which to me is a little bit scary, that I didn't totally understand how my body worked as a musician. I didn't understand my instrument. I remember when I was in middle school band and I had to color pages of my trumpet. So I knew exactly how it worked, and I knew what all the valves did, and I knew where the air went. I had no idea how that worked with my own body, my own singing voice. So I encourage you to please do this. So ways to start and develop that body map is coloring pages. And these are, again, if you're posting things on your Google Classroom and trying to get kids involved in your classroom, this is a great way to do it. Give them some coloring pages that they can print off or do on an iPad or whatever your school happens to have. These I literally found by Googling breathing coloring page or lungs coloring page. So obviously one of these is not anatomically correct, but it's still kind of fun because it tells you how certain things are working. And then one is anatomically correct, so you could use them both if you wanted. There's also a ton of GIFs out there that really show very quickly, because I know I get lost on a 4-minute how your lungs work video that's super scientific, but sometimes just seeing a little GIF like this can be helpful. I've got a ton of toys and tools for you. These I'd probably encourage you to save for when we reach a new normal or for at-home activities, especially some of the activities on the next slide. It could be really fun to have like little video competitions or team building breathing exercises. So again, like I said, GIFs, you copy the image URL, insert it into a Google Slides as an image, and you can use it before, during, or at the end of class. I would put up little videos like this when students were walking in. So instead of like having a bell ringer, they would all just be like staring at the GIF and doing the breathing exercise, just to let them calm their minds a little bit. The Hoberman sphere is one of my favorite tools, something that you can get students involved with. They can follow each other's breathing. Again, not great for an online setting unless you, the teacher, has one of these. You can't really get the students super involved with holding the sphere and breathing, but there's options out there. You can use it with breath work in repertoire as well. Can use it as a calming tool. Bubbles and pinwheels. If kids have these sitting around at home, you could do like breathing competitions with this if you like. Allows students to be playful and breathe really deeply. There we go. Straw breathing is a great activity. So you can focus on your breath, you can add phonation, you can connect it to semi-occluded vocal health exercises. And this is something that, like, a lot of students just have a straw in their cup at home and they can pull it out and use it however they wish. Puffball games are fun. So if you're one of the teachers who has to send home a baggie of goods for the students to be using, and you're sending home, you know, like wooden sticks for percussion or whatever, puffball might be something that you can send home too as well. That's super cheap, and you can inhale and pick up the puffball like with a straw, exhale it to set it down. You can also do mazes and relays. I saw videos of them doing like ramp pong where they were like blowing the puffball up a ramp. There's also different cup challenges. The paper on wall, this is a very easy thing that you could be asking your students to do at home. It would be kind of funny to watch via Zoom probably. Using your air to keep a piece of paper on the wall. I remember doing that in high school. And then again, there's just a ton of YouTube videos out there. There's a wealth of videos about breathing, guided yoga and meditation. This is a super sweet Sesame Street video that unfortunately we don't have time to watch, but they talk through that breathing strategies and using it for mindfulness. I encourage you to go look at that one. It's really cute. It's got Colby Calais and Common in there, and they just talk about the monster that's inside you and how we need to get rid of that through breathing, or how we can. We don't need to. So we've talked through some yogic breathing exercises. We've talked about visual breathing. We did the breath recognition exercise at the beginning, and I included that in your packet, in your PDF. Square breath is a great way to be focusing on the breath. Super easy. You just inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. So you just make a little square as you're doing that. And you can be doing that with some of the GIFs as well. The Vilomas, the pacifying breaths, we tried both of those. Hopefully you liked one of them. You can also do the full yogic breath, which is where you're just thinking about the lower belly, back, upper belly, chest, throat, crown of the head, and like really just kind of chanting through those as you're breathing. There is the Ujjayi breath, the ocean breath, which this is one that I did not understand when I started yoga. And I remember the person next to me was making some very scary noises. And I was like, this is not hard. I don't understand why you're making so much noise. And it was really, they were doing the Ujjayi breath, which I learned about later. So this is just a nice release. All you do is, as you're exhaling, you make kind of an H sound. So you inhale through your nose, exhale, let the tongue be at the tip of your teeth, and you just exhale. And as a teacher, I like doing that because you can actually hear the breath and how it's moving, and the students can almost visualize through hearing it how much air is coming out. So there's some students where you'll do that with them and you're not going to hear anything, and you realize that, oh, maybe we need to work on that breath support. That could be helpful. There's also alternate nostril breathing, which is one of my favorites. We're going to do it super quick because we are running out of time and I want to have time for a Q&A. But essentially, you take your middle finger and your right finger, put it in between your eyebrows. You let your pinky plug one side. You inhale through your thumb side, plug it, exhale through your pinky side. Inhale through your pinky side, plug it, exhale, and then you inhale again, and you just repeat that as much as you need. That is one that I constantly use when I'm in stressful situations. That one, for some reason, just calms me down. That's the one that I also use. I have a couple colleagues who whenever we're in the office and something's going wrong, we'll be like, you want to do an alternate nostril breath? And they'll be like, yes. So that can be used. I used that with students at like contest when they were worried about someone ensemble. That's just one that really calms down the breath because you're focusing on the physical and you're focusing on the breathing, and it lets your mind shut down just like a little bit. So thinking about connecting this to traditional choral breathing exercises. So when we're able to be in a classroom and we're able to sing, things that we do with breathing are our yawn sighs, our sniffs, hissing, unvoiced diction, anytime we do like staccato and legato, voice diction, lip buzzes, phrasing exercises, connecting gestures. These are all things that most of us already probably do in our classroom, but we can very easily be like, okay, we were just doing this Philoma breath where we're inhaling a little bit, inhaling a little bit, inhaling a little bit. Now let's think about that as we are doing this staccato or our voice diction or whatever. One exercise that I pulled, if we're just thinking about singing. This is working on that staccato. This is working on that breath support and our sustained line, but it also gives you time to breathe at the end. So I know a lot of times we'll do like a G, and up, G, and like we don't give ourselves time to breathe. So I encourage you to think about G, G, and giving students that time to breathe and mentally reset, that could be helpful for certain students. And saying like, as we're doing that inhale, I want you to think about the breathing technique that we were doing earlier, and then you can connect this into your repertoire. Unfortunately, we do not have time for flow number 3, but I did include that on the worksheet or at the end. So if you want to take a look at that, you can. And then just a few summarizing thoughts. We as teachers are the primary channels for changing how music is taught and sung. And a lot of this comes from example. We need to be the ones who are showing them that it's okay to be mindful. It's actually like really good to be mindful. And as musicians, we need to take care of our bodies, we need to take care of our minds, we need to take care of our hearts. So sometimes I think we get stuck in, I know that I absolutely did when it came to contest time, I would get stuck in like, we need to get ones. We need to get ones. And sometimes we need to just take a breath and say like, no, I need you to be a healthy musician. And if you get a 1, that's great. 5 minutes a day in your classroom or just for yourself at the beginning of the day can yield really beautiful results of concentration, relaxation, and resiliency for teacher and for student. The days that I did meditation with my students, we did mindful meditation Wednesdays. Those were my best teaching days, and those were my students' best learning days. And everything starts with the breath. Breath in yoga, breath in mindfulness, breath in music, it's all the same. And that's really what attracted me to yoga in the first place was, oh, we're just doing the same thing that we do in choir, but it's like a little bit of an exercise, I guess. So I encourage you to build those connections for yourself, for your students. And here I have for you a scan. If you want to scan this for a handout with the flows, exercises, suggested resources, it also has a link to this presentation. If for some reason that doesn't work, shoot me an email. If you just want to talk, shoot me an email. I think Hannah said that she was able to tell me if there were any questions. So if you have questions, I'd love to talk. Or if you can unmute yourself, I'm not sure. But otherwise, thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time, and I hope there were some helpful things in here for you. And let's talk if you want to talk.
Colleen, it looks like somebody said that the link to the presentation was not working, so they're wondering if they can access that later.
I'm not sure if that is the one on Hoover that's not working or if this one is not working. I'm gonna check I'll make sure they're all working, but I can't give an answer, but feel free to shoot me an email. If for some reason it's not working, I will definitely email that resource sheet to you. The one on Hoover is working for me right now.
We have another question. They asked, do you struggle at all with students wanting to be disruptive during breathing exercise? They have middle school kids who just make funny noises for laughs.
You know, that happens, and sometimes we just need to sit in the noise and enjoy it, and we can be mindful about maybe the students need the laugh at that moment. But this is where, you know what, we start small. It can be as little as like, let's just take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. And even if someone's being giggly and silly about it, you know, there are other people in the room who are getting the effects of that. So I totally hear you on the middle schoolers, but actually, I did most of this with my high schoolers. I wasn't quite into this when I was working with middle schoolers, but when I was with my high schoolers, the freshmen were the ones who were the most into it, which was kind of the opposite of what I expected. And then when we would have our full school, full choir concerts, the middle schoolers who were there would follow the older kids' leads. So that could be something where if you've got all the choirs together and your 8th graders are totally into it and your 6th graders haven't been, they'll follow the lead of the 8th graders, and it might just have to be a, you know, full choir thing. I know that doesn't happen that often, but the other thing is when you're online, you can just mute them all. Not that that's like the best thing ever, but it's an option. All right, well, we're at 9:50 and I want to respect your time. So thank you so much for being here. And I hope you all have a great day and really enjoy your professional development on this online conference. Please shoot me an email. I'd love to talk.
Thank you.